it was not a Merry Christmas for businesses along Upper Thomson Road last year. On Christmas Eve, the area was inundated following a heavy downpour, and patrons of eateries along a stretch of the road between Jalen Kelly and Jalen Todak found themselves knee-deep in water. Businesses reported significant losses as a result of the flood, including damage to their flooring and other infrastructure. Less than a month later, the area was flooded again, though shops were spared damage on the scale of the previous deluge. Water agency Pub found that unapproved drainage works at the construction site of the Upper Thomson MRT station, scheduled to open in 2020 as part of the future 43 km long Thomson East Coast Line, had contributed to the Christmas Eve flood. Earlier this month, Pub announced that construction firm Sato Kochio, the contractor for the Upper Thomson station, had been fined $14,000 for carrying out the works. When the Straits Times returned to the scene on Tuesday, almost a year after the incident, it was business as usual. Workers at Ming Fa Fishball said they had not experienced any drop in the number of customers following last year's incident, and were not worried about floods. At the modest Thomson Park in Jalen Kelly, facing the Church of the Holy Spirit and the Zhe Xing Qiang Temple, construction workers were having their lunch on the grass or perched on park benches, while others seized the opportunity to take a lunchtime nap in the shade of a gazebo. Customers were crowding the eateries. Office workers slurped on their fishball noodles where, just a year ago, workers were clearing water and sand out of the premises. $14,000 how much Sato Kochio, the contractor for the Upper Thomson station, had been fined for carrying out unapproved drainage works at the construction site of the Upper Thomson MRT station. The Roti Prada House, which has been in the area since 1995, reported an estimated $30,000 of losses as a result of last year's flood. On Tuesday, though, patrons were enjoying their meals against the backdrop of sizzling frying pans and shouts of orders. Mr. Syed Ridwan, who has worked at the Roti Prada House for 13 years, said he was not worried about floods this year as the MRT contractor had taken steps to prevent flooding. But, as a precautionary measure, the eatery has taken to placing ingredients such as flour and eggs on higher shelves. Though the construction of the MRT station, which began 3 years ago, has deterred walk-in customers, the 40-year-old said he was not worried. "We have been here for more than 20 years, our customers know the quality of our food." Workers at Ming Fa Fishball said they had not experienced any drop in the number of customers following last year's incident, and were not worried about floods. Although Upper Thomson Road, named after John Turnbull Thomson, a civil engineer who helped develop much of Singapore's infrastructure in the 19th century, is one of 55 flooding hotspots identified by the pub, measures have been taken to ensure that last year's incident is not repeated. It was announced earlier this month that, as part of efforts to prevent floods, the authorities would pump $500 million into upgrading the Republic's drainage network, including making monsoon drains and canals bigger.